ahead and introduce our guest speaker who's with us today. Lance Smith, also known as Claysmile, mortgage loan officer with AFN, American Financial Network. In addition, he's passionate about visiting schools and delivering presentations that provide insights and inspiration for maximizing and maintaining health and happiness. So please join me in welcoming Lance Claysmile.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate Ms. Myra for allowing me to come in today and share this message with you. I'm really excited about being here with you guys today. Now, I need to ask you for a huge favor. And, honestly, I understand that this may feel a little silly, but it really does add a lot of energy to the presentation, all right? So here's what I want to ask you to do. During this presentation, whenever I say, holler if you hear me, if at that moment you're understanding and agreeing with what I'm saying, then please yell back at me. Something like yes, or yeah, or anything of that nature, a lot of energy and enthusiasm, all right? Let's test this out. Holler if you hear me. Yeah. Yeah, maybe just a little more enthusiasm, maybe. All right? Because it really does help with the presentation. All right? All right, holler if you hear me. Yeah. All right, maybe just a little bit more. All right, really does help. Really does help. Holler if you hear me. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Now, during this presentation, whenever you hear a quote that you like, please write it down on your piece of paper labeled notes, right? The feedback piece of paper, we're going to save that for the end because we're going to do a writing activity, right? But for the notes, during the presentation, whenever you hear a quote that you like, please write it down on your notes piece of paper. That's important because towards the end of this presentation, we're going to do an activity and each person will need to have a list of their favorite quotes written down on their notes piece of paper. All right, now, I'd like to start by sharing with you this story. I heard this story told by the speaker T.D. Jakes about a little boy out in the Midwest who wants to see an eagle fly. So he gets a pair of binoculars and he goes out to a large open field and he's watching, and finally he spots an eagle. And the eagle is flying higher and higher and higher. Then all of a sudden the eagle stops in midair. And it begins to fall and flap and fall and flap and fall and flap. Finally it disappears out of sight. Little boy says to himself, what happened to the eagle? Did someone shoot the eagle? I didn't hear a gun. And the little boy walks for about a mile in order to find where the eagle had landed. And finally he found the eagle. The eagle is laid down, nose in the dirt. The eagle is dead. The little boy says to himself, what killed the eagle? The little boy turns the eagle over, and there, affixed to the eagle's chest, is a weasel, a little animal. And the weasel has bitten into the heart of the eagle. And the little boy says to himself, now I see what happened to the eagle. The eagle had picked up a weasel and did not let it go. And that's very symbolic to our lives. Because every single day of our lives, we all pick up weasels. And weasels come in many different forms. There are weasels in the form of negative thoughts, weasels in the form of bad habits, weasels in the form of unhealthy addictions, weasels in the form of fears and worries and stress and frustration and anger and insecurities and anxiety. We all pick up weasels. And if we don't drop the weasels will drop us. Holler if you hear me. Yeah. Drop the weasels. Let go of the weasels. Let go of things that are trying to eat at you. Let go of things that are trying to separate you from your source of peace and joy. Let them go. Because either you drop them or they will drop you. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys today because in this presentation, I'm going to share with you some tips that we all can use to drop the weasels and fly like an eagle. I'm going to share some tips for us to maximize and maintain our health and our happiness. Now, I'd like to share with you something very personal. I used to be very embarrassed about this, but no longer am I embarrassed about it, so I want to share it with you. You see, although I am a professional, right? I graduated from college with a degree in accounting and became a CPA and then later became a mortgage loan officer. Although I am a professional, I'm still in the process of overcoming social anxiety issues. When I was young, I had a severe case of social anxiety. Just get nervous. Now, it's interesting how I feel comfortable when I'm prepared, like when I'm doing a presentation, right? I feel very comfortable. But when it's like, when there's no script, when it's just like, a social context, sometimes I can feel very, very nervous. And although things have improved, I'm still in the process of overcoming social anxiety issues. Now, I'm not embarrassed to admit it because I realize that in order to overcome a problem, we must embrace the struggle. Holler if you hear me. Yeah. So I embrace the struggles, I embrace my struggles, and I realize that it's okay if some people look down on me. It's okay if some people think of me as being a little slow or dumb. It's okay. Because I realize now that other people's opinions of me do not have to become my reality. I realize now that my value as a human being always stays the same, regardless of how other people treat me. To really make this point clear, let me share with you this illustration. How much is this worth? $1. What if I take this dollar bill and crumble it up and throw it on the floor and stomp on it? How much is it worth now? It's still worth $1. Regardless of how I just treated this dollar bill, its value stayed the same. I crumbled it up, I threw it on the floor, I stomped on it, I put dirt on it, but yet its value stayed the same. And the same thing goes with you, me, and all other human beings. Regardless of how other people treat us, regardless of what other people think about us or say about us or do to us, regardless of whatever happens to us in our lives, our value stays the same. Because our value is something that the world did not give to us, and so therefore it's something that the world cannot take away. It's amazing how just by changing our perspective, our whole life changes. Even a small shift in our perspective makes a huge change in our life. Perspective changes everything. To really make this point clear, let's do this group activity. This will blow your mind. This will blow your mind. Everyone, please take your right index finger, point it straight up towards the ceiling. It has to be above your head. It has to be above your head. Now, look up at the ceiling and imagine that on the ceiling, there's a clock face. Now, rotate your finger in a clockwise motion. Go clockwise, clockwise motion, clockwise motion. Now, continue that same motion, but now bring your arm down, all the way down, all the way down, so it's below your chin. So you're looking down at your finger. And realize now, you're no longer going clockwise. You're now going counterclockwise, aren't you? Isn't that cool? Let's try that again. Clockwise motion, and bring your arm all the way down, and realize now you're going counterclockwise. So somebody tell me, our finger did not change, and the motion of our finger did not change. What was the only thing that changed? Our perspective. And whenever we change our perspective, our whole life changes. So here's the message. Here's the lesson. Here's the point. Whenever you are feeling sad about anything, always ask yourself, what else can this mean? What else can this mean? What's another perspective in which I can view this situation? What's another way in which I can look at this circumstance? What else can this mean? I guarantee you, asking yourself that question is a very useful tool that can help us to rise above sadness. It's a very useful tool that can help us to manage our emotions. Whenever you are feeling sad about anything, always ask yourself, what else can this mean? Now, I want to make a little note, though, that when I say sad, I don't mean like the extreme cases of depression that's like a medical situation, all right? I just mean like everyday sadness. Whenever you're feeling sad about anything, always ask yourself, what else can this mean? Is this the end, or is this the beginning? It's all a matter of perspective. Am I being punished, or am I being rewarded? It's all a matter of perspective. Is this a problem, or is this a personal development exercise that is designed to prepare me to achieve my purpose and my destiny in life? It's all a matter of perspective. Holler if you hear me. Yes, problems are just personal development exercises that are designed to prepare us to achieve our purpose and our destiny in life. You know, as I think back over my childhood, I realize now that I'm grateful. I'm actually grateful for the mental bullies. You know what I'm talking about when I say mental bullies? I mean like the inner critic, the inner anxiety, the inner worries. Because I now realize that those inner bullies made me stronger. And they prepared me for my destiny. They tore me down for a moment, but over time they built me up like gold, purified through fire. To really make this point clear, let me share with you this story. It's a story about a water carrier who had two large pots. Each hung on the ends of a pole which he carried across his neck. One of the pots had a crack in it, while the other pot was perfect. Each day at the end of the long walk from the water stream, back to the house, the perfect pot always delivered a full portion of water. But the broken pot always delivered only half a pot of water, because the other half of its water would always leak out through the crack that was in its side, all the way back to the house. And this continued on for years. And of course, the perfect pot felt proud of itself. Felt like a high achiever. It felt successful. Had very high self-esteem. It felt good about itself. But the broken pot felt ashamed of itself and felt miserable. And one day, by the water stream, the broken pot spoke out to the water carrier and said, I'm ashamed of myself because this crack in my side, it causes water to leak out all the way back to your house. I'm no good. I'm inferior. I've been broken. I've been broken by some things that have happened to me in the past. You see, I've been through some bad experiences that have hurt me. Hurt me so much, and now I have all these insecurities. I have all of these issues that are holding me down and holding me back, and I'll never be able to succeed. I'm sick, and I'll never be made well. So you should just destroy me because my life has no meaning and no purpose. And then the water carrier responded to the broken pot and said, did you notice that there were flowers only along your side of the path and not along the other pot's side? That is because I've always known about your flow. And I planted flower seeds all along your side of the path. And each day as we walk back from the water stream, the water that leaks out through the crack in your side waters these flowers. And for years now, I've been able to pick these beautiful flowers to make the world a more beautiful place. Without you being just the way you are, there would not be this beauty to grace the world. I love that story because it's a reminder to us that even the cracks in our lives are there for a reason. Even the cracks in our lives, even the flaws, the imperfections, the challenges, the struggles, the stress, the disappointments, even the cracks in our lives are there for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, although often we don't understand what that reason is as we're going through the process. But one day we will be able to look back and clearly understand that it was all part of a beautiful plan. One day we will be able to look back and see the bigger picture. And there's always a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture. Everything that happens in our life, it's all part of a bigger picture. But one of the most challenging things about life is that often we can't see the picture because we're standing in the frame. Holler, you hear me? Yeah. Right? Often in life, we can't see the picture because we're standing in the frame. But one day, we will be able to look back and clearly see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is a beautiful picture. To really make this point clear, let me share with you another story. It's a story about a store owner who put a large sign on top of the front door of his store. And the sign read, "Puppies for sale." And almost immediately a little boy comes into the store full of enthusiasm and asks, "How much are the puppies?" The store owner replied, "Anywhere between $30 to $50 per puppy." The little boy dug deep into his pocket and he pulled out $1.37. He says, "All I have is $1.37, but can I see the puppies?" Store owner smiled and then whistled. And out from the kennel came a group of puppies running down the aisle of the store. But there was one puppy that was lagging behind all the others because it was limping. It was limping along. The little boy noticed that puppy that was limping. The little boy asked the store owner, "What's wrong with that puppy?" The store owner then explained how the veterinarian had examined that puppy and had noticed that that puppy was missing a hip socket. So it would always be lame. It would always limp. Little boy got excited and said, "That's the puppy that I want to buy." Store owner said, "No, you don't want to buy that puppy. That puppy limps. That puppy has issues. In fact, I plan to just give away that puppy for free because that puppy does not have any value." Little boy got upset and said, "That puppy is as valuable as all the other puppies. Now I'll give you full price for that puppy. I'll pay you $1.37 now, and I'll pay you 50 cents each week until that puppy's fully paid for." But again, the store owner expressed concern and said, "Look, I really don't think you're going to enjoy that puppy Because that puppy can't run, and he can't jump, and he can't play with you like the other puppies can. And at that moment, the little boy bent down and picked up his left pant leg. Because his left leg was crippled. It was twisted. It was held together by a metal rod. And he says to the store owner, I can't run well myself either. And that puppy needs someone who can understand. Love that story. Because it's a reminder to us that imperfect is perfect. Imperfect is perfect. Our imperfections make us humble. Our imperfections make us compassionate. Our imperfections make us relatable. Our imperfections give us a unique ability to add a special value to the world. Imperfect is perfect. We are perfect just the way we are. Now, of course, we must continue to learn and grow so that we can become the best versions of ourselves. But at every stage in our development, we are perfect just the way we are. Imperfect is perfect. This message really touches me deeply because I realize that I need to constantly remind myself that imperfect is perfect. Because there are times in which certain issues tend to weigh me down. Like I told you about the anxiety, social anxiety issues that I struggle with, and other issues, it tends to weigh me down. And I have to remind myself that imperfect is perfect. I have to remind myself that it's okay that I struggle. It's okay that I stumble at times. It's okay because I'm doing my best and I'm making progress. It's okay. I have to remind myself that I don't have to wait until certain issues get resolved in order to feel happy. I have to remind myself that I can be happy along the way. I can enjoy the process. I don't have to achieve in order to be happy. I can happily achieve. Because really, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. Holler if you hear me. Yeah. Right? There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path. And so therefore, I can love the life I have as I build the life I want. I can enjoy the process. I can be truly content without being complacent. Right? I can be truly content without being complacent. I can truly be content. I can be truly happy about where I am right now in my life. And at the same time, I can be fully motivated to improve where I am. I can love the life I have as I build the life I want. At the foundation of this, we have to realize that everything is happening for us. Not to us. Life is happening for you, not to you. For example, true story. There's a true story about a lady running late for work one morning, all because of her daughter taking too long to get ready for school. And I can imagine she was feeling very angry and frustrated at her daughter for making her late for work. But when she arrived at work that morning, she realized that on this particular morning, it was a very good thing that she arrived late to work. Because this morning was Tuesday morning, September the 11th, 2001, and this lady worked in the World Trade Center. If it had not been for her daughter who made her late for work, she would have been in the building when the planes hit. It's amazing how really our problems are really blessings in disguise. Holler if you hear me. Yeah. So let's not complain about anything because really our problems can bless our lives in ways that we don't even understand. Life is happening for you. Life is not happening to you. For example, when I was in high school, for a while during my high school years, I became very heartbroken. And the reason why I became so heartbroken was because there was this girl who I liked who did not like me back. And it really broke my heart because I felt as though we were soulmates. I felt like we were made for each other. Every time I'd see her in the hallways, I'd feel a little hypnotized. You know that feeling you get when you see someone that you have a crush on? It's like that high feeling. You know what I'm talking about? That high feeling? That's what I felt. Every time I'd see her, I felt that high feeling. And that high feeling was so strong, I thought it was a sign that this was true love. And so when she rejected me, I felt as though my heart split in half, and I became very disappointed. I started feeling very insecure and started feeling inadequate. But an interesting thing happened. As time went by, and as I grew older and more mature, I began to look back over that experience, and I began to see something that I never saw previously. You see, it wasn't until later on in my life, as I was looking back on my teenage years, that I began to realize that when I was a teenager, I was very immature. And if I would have gotten into a relationship with that girl at that time, because of my immaturity, I would have made some bad decisions. I would have given in to certain temptations. Because you see, this particular girl, she was involved with some very unhealthy things like drugs and alcohol. And I was aware of it, but I overlooked it because I was so very infatuated with her. I was so very physically attracted to her that I overlooked the fact that she had these negative habits. It's amazing how physical attraction clouds judgment. Holler if you hear me.
Yeah.
Physical attraction clouds judgment. So we have to be very careful. Be careful what you wish for. Because often in life, the things that look good to us are not good for us. Often, even poison is wrapped in beautiful wrapping paper. So please always remember this. Do not follow your heart, lead your heart. Do not follow your heart, lead your heart. And what I mean by that is do not blindly follow your heart. Of course, you want to follow your dreams and your goals and your calling and your passion, your purpose in life. But do not blindly follow your heart. Because your heart can be very deceiving at times. In other words, what I'm saying is this. Do not live your life based on your emotions. Live your life based on your principles. Wise principles. Do not follow your heart. Lead your heart. And it's amazing how it really all comes down to perspective. Perspective. So, imperfect is perfect. Life is happening to you. Life is happening for you, not to you. Lead your heart. Rise by lifting others. That's another thing that I've learned. One of the greatest fears that we all experience from time to time is that fear of not being enough, right? And that fear that we won't be loved. That fear that we're going to be rejected. And one of the things that's helped me to deal with that fear in my life is by changing my perspective from wanting to get love to having a primary intention of giving love. Because I realize now that we rise by lifting others. We rise by lifting others. I realize now that if I focus on trying to get love, I'll end up being depressed. Right? Because I'm focusing on myself. But if I can just focus on primarily giving love, then I really experience that true abundance in life. We rise by lifting others. And so, number 10, as long as you've done your best, you have won. I think about often in life, you've heard of performance anxiety, right? Performance anxiety, that fear that we won't do well, that fear that we're not enough. And one of the things that's helped me with that performance anxiety is changing my definition of what winning is. I realize now that it really doesn't matter what's on the scoreboard. It really doesn't matter, how other people evaluate my performance. What really matters is that I did my best. You heard the saying that sometimes courage doesn't roar. Sometimes courage is that small voice at night that says, tomorrow I will try again. So I realize that it doesn't matter how other people evaluate me. What really matters is that I do my best. Because as long as I've done my best, then I won. Number 11, bring your own sunshine. I realize that technically, other people's words can never harm me. Technically, other people's words can never harm me. But it's my own words that can kill me. Holler if you hear me.
Yeah.
Right? Technically, other people's words can never harm you. But it's your own words, your own thoughts that you have to watch out for. It's your own words, your own thoughts that you have to be careful about. Because other people's words, other people's thoughts can never harm you. But it's your own words, your own thoughts that can kill you. You know, there's an old African saying that goes, if there is no enemy on the inside, then the enemies on the outside cannot harm you. I love that. Because I realize that as long as I maintain positive and healthy emotions on the inside, then the negativity that surrounds me cannot touch me. So I know. I realize that I just have to control. I have to control the thoughts. My own thoughts, my own words. I can bring my own sunshine. I don't have to depend on it being there. Wherever I go, I can bring my own sunshine. And when I fall, because we all fall from time to time, when I fall, I realize that I can always press the reset button. You know that in life there is a reset button? Unfortunately, there is no rewind button and there is no redo button, but there is a reset button. And I realize that it's never too late to press the reset button and start completely over again. Now, of course, we do have to face the consequences of our behavior. And of course, our behavior always has consequences. But it's never too late to press the reset button and start completely over again. The winners are those that realize that the past does not equal the future. Our biography does not have to become our destiny. And so therefore, we do not have to live in the past. In fact, it's very unhealthy to live in the past. Because if you live in the past, you die in the present. Holler if you hear me.
Yeah.
If you live in the past, you die in the present. If you're holding on to the baggage of the past, you'll never be able to fully embrace the present moment. We must let go of the baggage of the past, but always hold on to the lessons that we've learned from the past. And that's a very key point, because good judgment comes from experience, and experience often comes from bad judgment. So as long as we always learn from our mistakes, then even our mistakes will become part of the process of our ultimate success. Michael Jordan once said, I failed over and over and over again, and that is why I have succeeded. Because failure is part of the process of success. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of the path to success. What I learned in my valleys helps me to get to my mountaintops. So, this is so very important because, number 13, we got to learn how to be a coffee bean. Be a coffee bean. Here's the backstory. In life, all of us have to become one of three things: a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean. If you place a potato in a hot boiling water, the hot water will change the potato into becoming soft, right? If you place an egg in the hot boiling water, the hot water will change the inside of the egg into becoming hard. But if you place a coffee bean into hot boiling water, what happens? The hot water does not change the coffee bean, but rather the coffee bean changes the hot water. So likewise, as we go through hot water in our lives, meaning as we go through problems and struggles and challenges and obstacles and disappointments and fears and worries and stress, as we go through hot water, we don't have to allow the hot water to change us, but rather we can change the hot water. We can change the hot water into opportunities to learn and grow stronger. We can change the hot water to our advantage. Because remember, our problems are just personal development exercises that are designed to prepare us to achieve our purpose and our destiny in life. Our problems are really blessings in disguise. You know, if I had to summarize this whole presentation into one sentence, it would be this: turn your problems into power by controlling the perspectives in which you view the situations of your life. If I had to summarize this whole program, it would be turn your problems into power by controlling the perspectives in which you view the situations of your life. Because it's never the problem that really impacts us. It's always our perspective of the problem. It's our interpretation. It's our filter, right? Perspective is like a filter. And that's why two people can experience the same exact thing, but yet have two different responses to it. Because they had a different filter on what was happening. Our perspective is our filter. And so by controlling our filter, by controlling the way that we look at something, we can turn the adversity into our advantage to comfort and inspire others who are going through similar situations. Like that puppy story, right? It's amazing how our adversity is our advantage to comfort and inspire others who are going through similar situations. Because it gives us more empathy, gives us more compassion, and we can relate more when we go through certain experiences of our life. Now, of course, these things are easier said than done, and that's why my next point is the most important point of all. Please always remember this. Always stay connected to the source of strength. Always take time to do things that will strengthen your values and your faith and your beliefs. Because connected to the source of strength, you will have the power to drop the weasels and fly like an eagle. Holler, you hear me?
Yeah.
Now, everybody, please take a look at your list of quotes and put a star next to one of them. Just choose one of them and put a star next to it. Put a star next to it. And when I say go, I just want to give you a little time to turn to some of the people sitting around you and share with them that one quote and listen to their one quote. Ready? Go! Okay, time. Now, here's what I like you to do. Here's what I like to do. I like to now go around the room and give each person an opportunity to share with the whole class one of your favorite quotes. Now, if someone says a quote that you were going to say, it's okay to repeat that quote, okay? It's okay to repeat the same quote. And here's how we're going to clap for each person. We're going to do something called the Tony Robbins clap. Looks like this. Whoa, yes! Everybody try that. Whoa, yes! Excellent. So we're going to go around the room. Each person will have an opportunity to share their name and one quote. And then we're going to hear from Ms. Myra Foxfield what her favorite quote is, all right? All right, so right here, can you tell us in a loud voice, can you tell us your name and one of your favorite quotes?
My name is Matthias, and one of my favorite quotes is "Perspective changes everything."
Whoa, yes!
I'm John, and my favorite quote was, "Problems are a blessing in disguise."
Whoa, yes!
I'm Nalea, and my quote was, "I can love the life I have as I build the life I want."
Whoa, yes!
I'm Adam. Let go of the things trying to eat at you.
Whoa, yes!
My name is Kenneth, and my favorite quote was "Turn your problems into power by changing your perspective."
Whoa, yes! In the back.
My name is Will, and my value as a human being never changes, no matter how other people treat us.
Whoa, yes!
My name is Mateos, and my favorite quote was, "Happiness is the path."
Whoa, yes!
My name is Fernando, and my favorite quote is, "Imperfect is perfect, just the way we are."
Whoa, yes!
I'm Ian. My favorite quote was "Failure is a path to success."
Whoa, yes!
My name's Grant. My favorite quote was "There is always a bigger picture."
Whoa, yes!
My name is Charlie. My favorite quote was, "Our problems are a blessing in disguise."
Whoa, yes!
I'm Malcolm. My favorite quote was "Turn your problems into power."
Whoa, yes!
And my name is Asaf. My favorite quote was "Bring your own sunshine."
Whoa, yes!
My name is Alex, and my favorite quote is "Be a coffee bean."
Whoa, yes!
My name is Jason. My perspective changes life.
Whoa, yes!
I'm Sophia. My favorite quote was "Perspective changes everything."
Whoa, yes!
I'm Miles. My favorite quote is "The world can't take away your love."
Whoa, yes!
Jack. My favorite quote is "Bring your own sunshine."
Whoa, yes.
I'm Everett, and my favorite quote was, "Do not follow your heart, lead it."
Whoa, yes.
My name is Fiona, and I said life is happening according to you.
Whoa, yes.
I'm Meg, and my favorite quote was, your value never changes.
Whoa, yes.
Do I have to share?
No, you don't have to share, but I want to give you another option. So let me ask you this question. What would you say is a habit that helps you to stay in a happy and healthy mindset? Do you want to share that? No. No? Okay, that's fine. Okay. But we're going to give you a quote anyway. Whoa! Whoa!
My name is Sophia, and my quote is, everything happens for a reason.
Whoa! Yes!
My name is Phoebe, and my favorite quote was, be a coffee.
Whoa! Yes!
My name is Carrie, and my favorite quote was, bring your own sunshine.
Whoa!
My name is Julia, and my favorite quote was, perspective changes everything.
Whoa! Yes!
My name is Victoria, and my favorite quote was, Imperfect.
Whoa! Yes!
My name is Rain, and my favorite quote was, rise by the others.
Whoa! Yes!
My name is Sebastian, and my favorite quote was, perspective changes everything.
Whoa! Yes!
My name is Mario, my favorite quote was, turn your problems into power.
Whoa! Yes!
My name is Caleb. My favorite quote was perspective changes everything.
Whoa! Yes! Min Maripasos!
My favorite quote was, what you learn in your valleys helps you get to your mountaintops.
Whoa! Yes! And one big quote, yes, for the whole class. Whoa! Yes! Awesome. Now, what I'd like you to do is on your note piece of paper, please write down my name, my stage name. It's Claysmile. Claysmile. It's all one word. Claysmile. Claysmile. Because I have a YouTube channel, and if you've enjoyed this presentation, I want to invite you to check out my YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and search Claysmile, you'll find my YouTube channel. Now, this presentation was about 15 steps, 15 tips to maximize and maintain your health and happiness. And I understand that a lot of these things you probably already heard before, right? A lot of these things are things that you've heard before. But what I realized though about life is that there's often a difference between knowing something and truly applying it to our life. So I just want you to think that even though these things are things that you may have heard many times before, but please ask yourself, are you really applying these concepts to your life? And please make that commitment to apply wise concepts. Right? So now, what I'd like to do is this. So you have your notes. Okay. So now, what I'd like you to do on your feedback piece of paper, feedback. So keep your notes for you to keep. On your feedback piece of paper, please respond to this question. All right? It's like I want you to do like a mini essay. We'll give you like 3 minutes or so, 3-4 minutes. Like write a mini essay. Your response to this question. You can remain totally anonymous. You don't have to put your name on it, but please put your age and your gender identity. Right? Your age and your gender identity. And here and period 1, the period, right? Period 1. Oh no, I'm sorry. Period 3, right? Period 3. Yeah. Period 3. All right. So name, gender identity, and period 3. And then here's the question. Here's the question I'd like for you to respond to. Is this: was this presentation useful to you? Was it useful to you? Did it impact you in any way? How did it impact you? Was it useful? Were there certain quotes? Please explain your answer. If there were certain quotes that really impacted you, please explain why. If also explain, if there are particular stories that you really liked, why did you like those stories? Were there quotes that you really related to personally? Please explain your answer. Was this presentation useful to you? And please explain your answer. Let's just take about 3 minutes for that.